All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on to the Cinema Lords podcast. I don't even know if you want to call this a show, call whatever we want. We're doing a Dune 2 review. I'm here with two of my boys you guys should know, Seth, Ledoux. It's been a little while since we've had Ledoux on the pod. But we just got out of Dune, fresh out of IMAX showing on opening night. So we got a little review. We'll start, first with, what's going on with you boys? Anything new?
No, same old.
Nothing
just
watching.
About just being sick all fucking.
Yep.
I actually did watch a good amount because I was sick a large amount of time, but some good stuff. Not as good as this, what we just saw, but it's a couple good things.
Same. Not too much. Working and paying bills.
Yeah, nothing watching new?
Watch True Detective, new season.
That's stunk.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
We'll have to talk about that another time. But watch a couple documentaries, a couple good ones.
That new one on Netflix I want to check out. About the guy who supposedly murdered. Actually, they're all about guys murdering their girlfriends for the most part.
American Nightmare.
American Nightmare.
So just watched
Saw
that. That was wicked good.
That was a good one. And then crazy one I watched on HBO. Love Has Won. I'm not even gonna get into it because it's too crazy. It's about a cult.
All right.
Worth checking out.
I was going back and forth between that one and the one I watched. It was like about a hitchhiker or something. That one was not good.
This one was definitely. I really don't even have words to describe it. You just gotta watch it. Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
Always down for something new. Like I said, we're here to review Dune 2, highly anticipated sequel to Dune from Denis Villeneuve. Got delayed once. It's supposed to come out in November. Got moved to today. I mentioned it a bunch of times, like the most anticipated movie I've had since the first one. But I loved the first one. I've been following these movies since a couple years before the first one even came out. So I was very excited. I heard amazing things. Early reviews were fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
A
lot of crazy things.
Which I think for the most part, a lot of it hit. You know what I mean? It was an unbelievable movie to see on the big screen. I mean, if you can go see it in IMAX, absolutely go see it in IMAX because it's going to blow away seeing it on a regular screen, that's for sure. But I figure we'll just keep it spoiler-free off the top, just kind of keep it general, and then we can go more in depth in a few minutes, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So general thoughts, you guys enjoyed it, loved it, hated it?
Loved it, honestly. One of the biggest takeaways I had was definitely if you don't watch that in IMAX or just find the biggest screen possible to watch it.
Yeah.
Like you're a dummy if you don't watch it in that scenario. Like Oppenheimer, I was saying, people were saying that. I think it was just more so the sound, not really like the visuals, but for this it was like
I get what you're saying.
The visuals were the biggest part why you should watch it. Just
Both, yeah. The sound kills
possible.
too, the speakers.
Yeah.
The score, again, that was another. I mean, the score in the first one was awesome. It was just as good this time around.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer, man, kills it. Score was great.
Yep.
Visuals really good. What about you, General?
Same. I loved it. I personally don't have super crazy amount of knowledge about the Dune series. Watch a couple videos here and there, but I kind of like going into it with no real no real expectations.
Yeah.
I obviously like you said, we've heard a lot of good things about this one, and I think it definitely lived up to the hype, in my opinion, at least. Like Seth said, visually, with the score, I think everything came together real well.
Yeah, so many good performances.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what the biggest winner might be out of this whole thing is Christopher Nolan with the fact that it didn't come out during the same time as Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah,
to battle with it at the
I would
Oscars.
say Dennis and Nolan are like the two best, going right now. They're the two best filmmakers.
They should have been going
right
toe to toe in the Oscars.
Yeah, I'd give it to Denny right now too, just because I didn't like Dunkirk and Tenet was fucking.
I still haven't seen Tenet. Dunkirk was okay, but this
I
was
did not like Dunkirk.
This was awesome.
Yeah, no, this was unbelievable. I really liked it. I think, like we mentioned, the reviews were so early that it was a step up in every way from the first one, and that it was like a theater experience of a lifetime, which I did think from that aspect it was pretty true. I think when you have that bar set that high, though, it's almost tough to. There's so much little room to be better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Impossible.
Exactly. So it's kind of almost tough to hear it's going to be that good going into it. I feel like for the most part it lived up to it. There were a couple things that I definitely not disliked, but I was kind of sort of surprised by, which we're going to get into in a minute. But I really, really, really liked it. I mean, I would say I loved it. Like I said, great performances, great score. The movie looked awesome again. Fucking shot the shit out of it. The scale, just like the first one, everything looks so big.
Yeah, the desert looks massive.
Yeah, yeah. The scenes you see from the trailer, the black and white scenes, I thought they did a cool job of doing that, transitioning back and forth. That they did a good
Like
job there.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, no, I think to me, Chalamet definitely takes a big. I already love him. I think he's really talented. I feel like this was probably his best performance I've seen him do yet. I feel like he fucking, especially the last like hour of the movie, man. He fucking. Anytime he was on the screen, you couldn't look away from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was
so
he was
powerful the way they made
Yeah,
it
I was gonna
sound
say
too,
when he
like,
sort of. I feel like after he drank the we won't get into it. Well, but at a certain point in the movie where he kind of realized what needed to be
Steps
done.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Zendaya was great. Zendaya was really, really good.
maybe her best too. Could have
Was
been her
it?
best performance too.
Yeah, I thought Zendaya was awesome. I thought she was really good. We knew she was going to have a bigger role in this one because the first one ends with her like really coming into the movie.
Yeah.
You just get like the dreams and sequences and stuff like that, but you don't really get her until the end. So you knew she was going to be a big part here. Yeah. But Austin Butler was teased a lot as like a bad guy. Austin Butler was really good. I've already enjoyed him in like Elvis and shit. He's in that Masters of the Air show too that I want to check out.
Yep.
But he was good. Christopher Walken was fine. He wasn't even in it that much, but he wasn't in it enough to be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't even have, like, it didn't even have like time to be weird to me. He was on so
Like an emperor role kind of thing. You know, like that was just.
He seemed like a weakling though.
Yeah, it didn't like turn me off, but it's just I think the casting of it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how they landed on Christopher Walken for that.
Yeah.
But Javier Bardem,
Javier Bardem.
maybe the best part of the whole movie.
He was really good. Florence Pugh didn't have as much time as I thought she would, but I always love her. I think she's gonna have a bigger role to play in the third one. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd give it. I'd go like in the 90s if I was gonna rate it. I don't know, 95, 96. I'm not gonna lie though. I don't have it like that much higher than Dune. Like I don't think that there's that much difference between the two, at least for me. Like it's not like I really love this one more. I think this one's like a slight head up.
It's like A versus A minus.
Yeah,
way you go. It's not.
I love
C
the first
or
one.
whatever.
I love the first one. Oscar Isaacs and Jason Momoa both have such good roles in the
Momoa
first one.
was
I feel like
awesome.
really fucking help the movie a lot. What would you guys say? A's? You said A.
Yeah, it comes down to it. If you're disappointed, it's because you heard all the people say the things they said, which was like A plus.
It's so hard to live up.
And you
to.
leave it saying A minus.
Yeah,
that's if you're disappointed in that, still, like, it's not that big of a jump off. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was good. I would say the new characters are honestly maybe even better than the returning characters. Like I said, I loved Javier Bardem's character.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was good. I thought Austin Butler.
His scenes in the first one were good too, though.
Yeah.
Like the first time he goes into the throne room and he fucking does the spit on the table thing.
Yeah.
That's a good scene.
Yep.
And even the scene like at the end of the movie where he kind of allows the fight to happen basically after the mom fucking fucks him up real quick.
Yep.
But
He
allows
just trust the prophet the whole time.
exactly. Yeah, he was. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think? A?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd probably, if I had to say, probably like high 8s for the first one, and this one probably like mid 9s for me personally. So I personally like this one a little bit better than the first one.
Yeah.
I rewatched the first one on Tuesday. I think I understood it more. Maybe I think watching it in the theaters, I was probably like, I forget what we saw it in
Fall
River,
River, I think,
so
that
it wasn't
one,
even
yeah.
IMAX.
No, it
but
wasn't. Didn't
might have
realize
been the
what
Dolby,
it was going to be
the
like.
Dolby
It was,
thing,
yeah,
you know
it
what I
was.
mean?
Dolby Atmos.
But yeah, I think that I just was probably distracted by what the first one had so much going on with the world building and the fan. There's a lot going on in the first one.
And you don't realize until you watch it a couple times how political it is.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of politics.
That I think is something that I noticed a lot more rewatching it on Tuesday. That they pretty much just tell you everything that's going on. Spice is super important. This is why they sent them there. Like it's basically to weaken the two houses that are biggest threats to the throne. So I think the second one, a little bit more action, a little longer, right? It had to have been longer.
It wasn't by much.
Not by much.
I think it was 15 minutes.
Yeah, I personally...
235 to 250, I think.
I thought they were able to kind of give you a little bit more of less of the story building thing and more of like, this is, like, we know what's going on now. So, yeah, I think I like this one a little bit more than the first one, for sure.
I'm going to actually have to watch it again because the more I sit here and think about it, the more I kind of feel like I actually might like Dune a little bit better. But which might sound crazy to say, but I mean I love Dune. I've also watched it. I watched it yesterday, and I watched it 2 other times previously this month just to fucking get ready for it. But I fucking love the first one. I really love the first one.
It's like you said. I watched it on Sunday before, and it was definitely more of a understanding of it.
Yeah, I felt like I was able to focus a little bit more on like what the story and people's angles were and why they're doing certain things than I was just being like, holy shit, this is like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the scale of it the first few times I saw it, I think was more of what I was focused on. Yeah.
I remember that was the first thing I said when I got out of that theater was like, I was like, that was like the biggest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Scale wise. It's I think it's a lot to take in, and then on top of everything they're trying to feed you with the story in the first one, I think that's why rewatching it on Tuesday was good because I was able to kind of say, all right, this like they do make it very plain and cut though.
Yeah.
Like if you just watch, it's like spice is super important. This is what's going on, and then
2 sides
go from there. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I definitely like this one a little bit better, but
you know what helps with the rewatches is like Thrones fucking names. There's so many like names and titles.
Yeah, the names, and I
shit.
threw on the closed captioning too this time.
Oh, yeah,
just like the
always.
stuff that they're like chanting that you can't really understand because they're saying it in their like native tongue or you know what I mean. Now that I know what they're chanting, it's like all right, this makes a lot more sense. So, yeah.
I mean, all right, so let's I guess we can start going more spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the movie, I would probably not keep listening and come back later. But there was a few things that I would say, I wouldn't say like disappointed me, but left me wanting a little bit more. I would say one of them, even though I liked him, was Austin Butler's character. Especially because I heard him compared to like some of these like great villains of all time. And like, he had a couple of good scenes, but like, I thought, first of all, the scene that he got introduced in I thought was weird. I was like, all right, this guy's supposed to be like this big bad motherfucking like guy who can fuck up anybody, and like they literally like drugged 2 of the guys, and then the third one, he seemed like he was just kind of like living in captivity, like he was like the son fucking. The guy's fucking malnourished. So you beat like 2 drug dudes and then a guy who's half dead.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Kinda needed
and the
help
guy that
too.
was half dead fucking gave him a run.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Help too.
He did get help, yeah, like you said.
Guy stabbed him in
in the back.
Which he did have a little Jamie Lannister moment there, like fucking he was mad about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he
like,
was.
Fuck
He was
off,
pissed,
like let us do this. That was one, like that first scene, which still looked very cool. That was one of the black and white things. Looked awesome. But I was like, I don't know. I was like, that's not like overly impressive, you know what I mean? Like I think in comparison to what Chalamet does at the end of the first one, where he has like that trial by combat basically with that Furman guy, I think that's more impressive to me than what he did.
The more impressive was like the ruthlessness of him, not him being a badass in the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah, it was more like how crazy it was.
So many questions him a little bit. He just like
that.
takes
See,
him out.
that
That's
shit
like,
was
oh,
cool.
Shit,
that shit was very
just
cool.
how ruthless he is.
And then later on, he did it a second time.
Yeah.
that one really caught me by surprise. That one should have made me laugh.
That was sweet.
And then the other scene that I thought was very weird was like the ending sequence. Like Chalamet comes into whatever you want to call it, like the throne room where everybody is. He goes, he kills the Baron, which that I didn't see coming at all. I did not think the Baron was going to fucking die. That took me totally by surprise. And I feel like it happened very, like, nonchalantly. Like, all of a sudden that dude with the sword, one of the little henchmen guys, just kind of sliced his little breathing apparatus thing off, and next thing you know, he's crawling around. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah,
but that whole sequence with Timothée Chalamet, he goes in, he fucking kills the Baron. He talks to the Emperor. He fucking says the silence thing to the fucking head queen witch lady there. That was cool.
I like that, yeah.
And that whole time, Austin Butler's just like sitting there, just like chilling. Like doesn't say like a word. Like you know what I mean?
Until they declare trial by combat, basically.
Then he steps in.
Yeah.
But like for instance, they're not saying it's the same character, but I heard like for instance, I was like they compared him to like Heath Ledger's Joker. Can you imagine like Heath Ledger's Joker sitting in a crowd just like listening to people talk
Why
for
do
like
people
5 minutes straight?
Why do people gotta say dumb things like that?
Yeah. Actually, the other one was Javi Bardem in fucking No Country for Old Men.
I guess I can see that a little bit more, but like just a little bit.
Just as like the all-time, not even that they were comparing him to them, but there was the all-time villains that like
he didn't have nearly enough screen time. It wasn't as impressive.
I think like what Seth was saying, the thing that made him like scary, if anything, wasn't like his like how.
Good was just,
it's not him taking on 4 guys.
Yeah, he just reminded me of like Ramsay Bolton a little bit in the sense that he was like a cunning like prick basically. Like, he's just like he's got poison people. He just like doesn't care what he's gonna do. Like he's just gonna like he's like a dirty fighter in a way. Like I think and just how unhinged he is, like you said, him slicing people's necks like that.
Maybe that's
quick.
what they thought with Joker. Was
that's I guess the only thing I could say.
When he has the knife like right to his face and he's just like
laughing.
Yeah,
when he was like laughing, cool. I thought that was like cool. Like
cool.
That's like a little scary because this dude's like a psychopath.
And again, the black and white, like the blood's black.
Yeah. That was pretty sick that they did that. I think the things that disappointed me were probably pretty similar, like the Baron and Austin Butler's character, Fade Rotha. I think they've already like. They both die, or we're presuming that they're both dead.
I think the Baron's definitely dead. I'm not entirely convinced that Austin Butler's character is dead, only because I've heard, like, kind of like what you said through YouTube videos, that in the books, him and Paul have like a rivalry. They fight multiple times, and it's kind of like
I saw
this guy gets the better of it. This next time, this guy gets the better of it, and it's like they kind of have like this ongoing feud kind of thing.
So I think if they do that, then that'd probably be a good move, because I guess my biggest complaints would be the Baron was like the big bad guy, but he's gone now, and he really like ultimately. I don't know. Just I felt like they could have just they could have just making him the big bad guy throughout.
I thought
that exactly. Like that, I think that would have been in my opinion, at least that's what I was, I guess, sort of expecting for them to keep going with him. Like it's his story seems quick. Like between the two movies, it's like a quick thing, and then same thing with Fade Rotha. Like it seems like he was introduced in this one, then like by the end of it, he's already gone. So it's like it's tough for me to really like hate him and be like, oh well, like the Joker movie, you hate him the whole time because it's just like him doing, you know what I mean? He's just doing shit the whole movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, he gets like introduced halfway through, and then he's dead at the end. So it's like we said, we're presuming he's dead. But it just seemed like a quick.
He doesn't kill. He doesn't kill anybody.
It's not like he wasn't like around long enough to really do anything that affected like characters that we really cared about. I guess like
if he killed Josh Brolin's character,
that would have been crazy. Or like
a little reason to hate him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he slits the throat of two people that who gives a shit about him.
Like
Ultimately, in the grand scheme. Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so.
Cool.
Oh yeah, he used a flamethrower, I think, on her,
which
right?
is cool. Yeah, but it's like
so that like it's the
right.
psychotic and him being like, it's just left. All that's left is pleasure, and then he like fries her. Like, all right, like this dude's clearly someone that's crazy. Yeah, exactly. So I think those were probably my two biggest complaints. I think off the top of my head, those were definitely the two that were, for me personally, were what I was like, we're kind of already, like that rivalry. Like that's kind of like I like that. Like we're on to the next step, I guess. So, those were probably the two biggest things.
As far as a big bad goes, it'd be kind of, I feel like, a little strange to introduce a new one like in just the third movie, because I think the third one's like the end of the trilogy.
That's what Dennis
said. So I can't imagine.
That's why I'm kind of thinking
it's weird that they're gonna.
They don't introduce anybody new. I don't know anything about the books. I could be way off, but it kind of seems like it's more of like Zendaya's character, and maybe taking out Paul Atreides. He abuses his power or something.
Well, he did kind of hint at that when he talked to Josh Brolin.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're going to introduce a whole new villain just for the third one for him to beat again. I think it's a little bit more of
goes to
the tragedy of like Zendaya's character having to kill him by the end of it for some reason.
Yeah, that's I guess what I'm worried about too. Like that's what I was looking forward to. This big rivalry between, like you said, him and Fade Rotha. The thing that I saw that too in a couple YouTube videos, that they have like this rivalry in the books. And again, same thing. I have no idea about the books. I really don't know too much about this particular universe, but like he says when he meets Fade Rotha, when they go to duel, he says, "Oh, it's nice to finally meet you," which I thought was weird because it's like I didn't even know they really knew each other.
There's a few kind of things like where they kind of skip weirdly forward, I feel like, in this, and I feel like
in the story, yeah. So I guess
him and Zendaya kiss for the first time, and then it goes right to them like waking up next to each other, and it seems like they've been waking up next to each other a lot
for a while. Like, right. Oh, you can definitely tell that. Like at the beginning of the movie, it's still relatively soon after the first one, and then it's like them traveling back and all that shit. So I definitely agree with that. But I guess it was just weird. Like, is that them just kind of covering themselves and saying, well, yeah, there's the rivalry. Like, it's nice to finally meet you. Like, obviously, they've both been on each other's minds, somehow, some way. but now it's over. So
this movie reminds me a lot of, I think, one of your favorites. This movie reminds me a lot of The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Oh, I definitely got some vibes of that too.
Time.
Sort of left it off at like there's this was one battle, but there's still the water kind of win because now the Holy War started. So I agree with that. And a couple of the scenes where they're looking out over the armies that they've got.
Oh yeah,
like huge.
how big
like
they are.
when basically the same scene as what's his name, Sauron looking out when he's. So that definitely reminded me of that too.
I feel like the last hour of this movie is. I mean, the last hour of this movie is fucking incredible. I mean, the last hour is insane, which I feel like is a lot like how Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers is. Like the last hour is just the Helm's Deep battle.
I agree.
And then I feel like a lot of it, like they're trying to progress the story of like a bunch of characters, and this one it wasn't so many characters, but it was just a lot of plot to go through that everything felt like it was a little too sped up, because that was always my problem with The Two Towers was like the story like doesn't like it's not fluid, which is why when I said I watched the director's cut I was like, wow, like I feel like The Two Towers is so much better for the director's cut because all of the story is so much more flushed out.
Okay.
Like they all have a little bit more padding to it.
They throw in just a few extra scenes that just explain a little bit more. I totally agree with that.
Exactly. It just makes it granted, it makes the movie another half an hour, 40 minutes longer, but at that point, who gives a shit? You know?
Right.
I'll take that all day.
Yeah, exactly.
But because that was always my problem with Two Towers is that it's like you got this awesome end sequence, and even the warg fight is fucking cool too. With all yep. But like the actual like the story, I felt like is just so fucking rushed, and people are just jumping here, there, and everywhere. And like I said, the director's cut was more flush, and I feel like this movie kind of had a little bit of that, where it was kind of like I said, it was jumping there all of a sudden. So we see that like he's going through tests and stuff like that to be like Furman, and then he's with Zendaya, and then all of a sudden too, like it just goes to, which the scene was awesome, but it goes to like the worm riding day. Yeah, like that just happened. Like,
true.
You know what I'm saying? Like it happened fast.
You can
like,
definitely that's the tell. Final test too, and it's
right.
Like, oh, I already.
And the girl's like friggin' Javier Bardem's character. She's like, he's been training him for a long time. He'll be fine. It's just kind of like
you don't see any of it.
Yeah. And it just like jumps to which, like I said, that scene was really, really fucking cool. That scene was awesome. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. One of the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, that was cool.
That scene was really cool.
When the big worm, when he calls it.
Yeah. No, that was sick. That was like a big IMAX fucking sound and everything.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
exactly.
That's amazing.
No. Like I said, the last hour is fucking awesome. Timothy Chalamet fucking comes into his own, man, and I was like, oh shit. Not only just like Paul Atreides, but like him is also, oh shit. It's like Chalamet's here, ladies and gentlemen.
He's not just a pretty face.
Yeah, no, that kid can act, man.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw it. But the only other thing I was thinking of was Anna Taylor-Joy's character. Was she Paul's sister? Like in the future when she ggets older? You know what I mean? Like I didn't know who her character was.
I think it's
her sister, like his sister, right? That's the only thing I could think of when he gets older.
I don't know.
They just showed her like one scene on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the
beach.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Who was the other girl? Who was the girl that was watching Fade Rotha?
Oh.
Redheaded chick. She pops up in the end in that throne room. She's in the back. But who was that? She was another Bene Gesserit. She was watching him. She's like, oh yeah, we'll get a look up close with him.
She looked like Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing I know her from is like the James Bond recent stuff.
Okay,
she's in that. I don't know her. Like,
I just don't know what her character was or her. I mean, I know she's a Bene Gesserit, and that they obviously, like they say, they've got a bunch of different bloodlines that they're fleshing out.
And she's pregnant too, right? So
she gets pregnant with Fade Rotha's kid.
Maybe that's the next one. You know,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's true. That is interesting.
We could have 2 babies fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Both girls too.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Cat fight.
I actually forgot
that's all the third one's gonna be, just cat fights. It's gonna be Zendaya versus Florence Pugh.
Love triangle.
It's gonna be the two sisters fighting.
But yeah, no. The other thing too about the Chalamet at the end, like, is he's obviously not like exactly like a strapping guy. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people were kind of like, oh man, this like tiny guys. But like even though like his presence wasn't small, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way like he was taught, like that scene when he's in whatever you want to call it, you know, like the head Furman fucking hall, you know what I mean? Doing the speech to all the Furman. he was like fucking.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh shit! Good. Like,
that was
fuck.
Awesome.
It's like Austin Butler's character. Like, yeah, he's not, a fucking big hero on the battlefield taking on 10 people, but he has like it's powerful like speeches and things like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was fucking good. Definitely had a lot of Two Towers vibes to it. The Bene Gesserit too. Fucking give me big time like Melisandre and the Red Priestess vibes from Thrones.
Yeah, some
big
like
time.
shady, just like you don't really know.
Witchcraft.
Like, I'm trying to after
Like the
watching
elves,
that
like the elves
movie.
from Lord of the Rings.
Puppeteer
Yeah,
from the
Galadriel.
fucking sidelines. Rebecca Ferguson was good in this movie.
Yeah.
She had a crazy role, but she was good. I want to know what she's going to be doing in the third one.
I think my biggest, or at least one of the things I don't like is, like you said, after the first one, I had, like, all right, we got the rivalry going now. Like, we're gearing up for something. Now we took that rivalry. The Baron's gone. Feyd-Rautha is potentially gone. So, like, what's next, I guess? You know what I mean? Yeah. And what's the end game with the Bene Gesserit? Like this, I understand they're trying to make this one mind, but
yeah, that cut. So you know what? That was another. I'm glad you just said that. That reminds me of Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah, something I watched the other day said that Bene Gesserit basically, or the mother there, turned him into Batman. Batman, I forget. They listed off like a bunch of people, and they were like in Bronn Stark, like all into one person, like basically just like a superhuman essentially. Which I think it's what they're trying to do. So, but I guess, like I said, what's the end game with the whole thing? You know?
Yeah. All of these stories all came out a while ago now. At this point, like Thrones is I think the newest one. Now that I think about it, it's like the '90s. But all these stories, they all influence one another. From Star Wars to Dune to fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
All these guys, fucking little tidbits here and there. There's a lot of even the spice thing that was just in Star Wars too.
The chosen one, Seth said, the emperor with one, like he's got. First,
he really looked like the emperor. Some scenes.
The Baron, and he's always got like one like his first nephew, and then it's not his now. So then he goes to his other nephew. Like he's always got one person.
There's always two.
Him. Yeah,
fucking
the ruler too.
Javier Bardem's character reminded me of Morpheus from The Matrix. Wicked bad. Does he have a chance? That he's the one.
100%. And like people, like when he brings them,
starting to believe.
When he brings them to council, though, same sort of thing. Like, I'm pretty sure in the Matrix they like doubt Morpheus when he goes to the council and he says like this guy is definitely the one, and they kind of like poo him a little bit. Like that sort of was the same thing. So,
Just think too, this cast, and then you have this big war coming. Like, think of all the people that they could keep casting.
Oh yeah,
the next one. You know?
No, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing more Florence Pugh. Definitely, I love her.
She'll have a big role. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a big love triangle kind of thing going on. I think that's going to be a real thing.
Well, yeah, they set the stage for it at the end there with the three of them all standing at the end, and Zendaya's character leaving. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the third one. Hopefully they do more than 3, but.
I know Dennis said he's doing 3. There's a shit ton of books.
He's not doing like the part 1, part 2 of like the last.
No, it's part 3 Messiah. I think I think the script he said is either finished or like is almost finished. And
I saw like Hans Zimmer was starting making the music for it and all that.
Yeah. So I bet you it's going to be a shorter layoff between like what we just did between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5 years. I bet you this one's going to be quicker.
Yeah.
This one would have been quicker too if it wasn't for it would have been 2 years
nonsense.
exactly if it wasn't for the writer's strike.
Yep.
But I'm excited to see this again. I'm probably gonna go see it in IMAX if I had to guess again.
It's the only way.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go see it in IMAX again. The more I think about it, the more I actually think I might like part 1 better, which I know is crazy. But actually, again, I like Fellowship more than I like Two Towers too. So I feel like, I don't know, Oscar Isaac's character I really love from the first one. I do feel like I was missing him a little bit in this. Josh Brolin didn't really do much in this movie.
No, he didn't. And I thought it was weird when he said for my Duke and my friends. Like, I thought it would have been cooler if he just said for my Duke and then just killed him.
And my friends.
Yeah. Gurney.
Oscar. Actually, I said Jason Momoa. Like Jason, fucking Duncan, Idaho was a fucking.
Like if they were paired up again.
That was like
Josh
another,
Brolin's
like those two together, and with what's his name, Paul or Timmy, was like a good, like I feel like
him and Charlie, they were really good on screen together.
Yeah, like his two advisors, really, you know.
Yeah, I like Jason Momoa. He's a very like charismatic guy. I like him in pretty much everything.
Oh, I liked him a lot in the first one. I thought he crushed it in the first one. Josh Brolin definitely. I mean, glad he's back, but I think I would have rather have had Momoa back. You know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Also, love that his name was Duncan, Idaho, in like a world where everyone else has got like outrageous names. You got Duncan, Idaho, man. I don't think I got anything else. I don't know. Action sequences were really good. I feel like I said that there were moments where I feel like the story could have just been flushed out a little bit. Like the pacing was kind of a couple times up and down.
Yeah,
but
I feel like
I wanted more from Austin Butler, even though I did like his character.
I feel like they're doing the same thing where they got a lot of stuff going on, so they gotta kind of jump. You know what I'm saying? Like Lord of the Rings had the Sam and Frodo, and then you got the wizard and what he's doing, and then you've
Merry
got
and Pippin are on
the Treebeard.
Yeah, Treebeard. Yeah, exactly. You got those two, and then you've got Legolas and those guys. So I feel like that's sort of the thing that they're dealing with now, where they've got to kind of do a little bouncing around, especially when Paul was out.
New characters coming
with the Furman, you know what I mean? And he's training, and then they're trying to introduce Fade Rotha now, and the Baron's plan sort of unfolding, and now they're introducing the Emperor in this one, and now they're getting the Bene Gesserit like a little more involved. Yeah. So I feel like they've got a lot going on for sure.
A lot to clean up.
Yeah, so it's a lot to, like you said, like we're bouncing around, and like time is obviously moving forward at. You know what I mean? It's not like it's just like an overnight thing. Like we're going from boom to boom to boom, you know. So I think that's something they're gonna have to deal with, work around. So
I got high hopes. That's all I know. I'm very excited.
Yeah, again, I feel like we're kind of bashing it the last like 15 minutes, but it's like A minus.
It's really really good.
Anything
really
below A minus, I think you're just wrong.
No, it's really really good, and there's no doubt about it. Like I said, I mean, there's so many great things. All of the things that they did good in the first one, they you know what I mean? They carried over. They still did all of it good.
For sure.
No doubt. I don't know. They were just even like in the first one too. There's a couple of scenes that aren't even like necessarily like action scenes. I like all like the put your hand in the box scene. Like that's
really
a
good
really
scene.
really fucking good scene.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, either way, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Loved it. Definitely go check it out if you can. If you're still listening, that'd be a fucking idiot move. But go see it on IMAX if you've seen it on something other than IMAX. Providence Place. Fucking just don't go out the exit we did. That sucked.
Yeah, bring a fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leave early.
Oh, you know what the other thing?
Bring some ice to cool yourself down.
Mouth Breather Batista. That guy's got he had like no role basically. I thought he was gonna have a bigger role in this movie. He just got kicked aside by Austin Butler. You know what's too? Like I feel like they were intentionally trying to make him like because he kept fucking up. Like he's like the Baron was like, you fuck up one more time, basically you can die. But like the whole 2 movies, he's like every scene he's filmed with like his mouth just like agape, just like.
Yeah.
Like he's just like dumb and trying to like process what someone's saying to him. He's just
he's like the guy in Star Wars. Like that was the comparison to Star Wars, where Darth Vader's just like you failed me for the last time. Force chokes him out. Exactly. That's basically what Batista's character was. He was that guy. Just couldn't handle the rebellion.
I thought him and Brolin were gonna have like a little bit of a fight. Brolin was like, "He gave me the scar." So I'm like, "All right." So like,
that fight was quick as hell.
Round 1, that wasn't even a fight.
Yeah, that was
fucking
quick.
grabbed and he was dead.
I was all ready for it too. I was like, "Oh, nice, let's go. This will be a nice long 10-minute."
Fucking no shit.
Like 10 seconds.
That was lame.
Yeah,
that was lame. I think that's. You guys got anything else?
No. Like I said, just go see it. Go see it at the biggest screen you can possibly.
If you can see it in IMAX, definitely see it in IMAX. 100% worth it.
Thanks, boys, for popping on in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. I'm glad we were able to go to the movies. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review. Shout out to you boys. Shout out to Menace and the KMS Network for putting this on the this podcast on the network. Really appreciate that as well. I hope you guys like the show, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy watching.